Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something that's been bubbling under the surface for a long time. That's the rivalry, the tension between the United States and Iran.
Right, the decades of it.
Exactly. You've got the nuclear worries, these drone strikes, proxy wars all over the Middle East, where they back different
It
sides.
creates these really long, simmering conflicts.
Yeah. And the big question, the kind of chilling question we're tackling today is, what if it all boils over? What if it actually turns into a full-scale war?
And to explore that what if, which is, pretty profound, we're using a really interesting source. It's called Warcast AI.
An AI simulation.
Exactly. This isn't just theory. It's a dynamic model.
Right.
Choose through just millions of data points, historical stuff, economic models, current intel. It lets it model these really complex what-if scenarios in a way humans probably couldn't track alone. It gives it, fascinating, maybe sobering look at what could happen.
Right. So our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is to walk through how Warcast AI sees this playing out, step by step. From the initial spark that kicks it all off, right through to the outcomes the AI predicted, which are, well, pretty surprising, quite stark.
Yeah.
And we need to stress this isn't a prediction, okay? It's a what if, a really powerful one, though, to pull some valuable insights out for you. So let's get into this model. Can you walk us through that starting point? How does Warcast AI see this whole thing igniting the sequence of events?
Sure. So the simulation sets a specific scene. It's June 2025. A U.S. military convoy gets hit in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty bad hit, dozens of soldiers killed.
Okay.
Washington pretty much immediately blames Iranian-backed militias.
Mm-hmm.
Tehran says, not us, denies everything.
Standard playbook, almost.
Kind of. But what's striking in the AI model is how fast things spin out of control from there.
Okay, so how fast are we talking? That initial strike happens.
Yeah.
Then what?
Almost no delay. The U.S. hits back, retaliatory strikes. Then, and this is a key moment in the simulation, an Iranian commander is assassinated over in Syria. And you see this cycle just instantly forming. Tit for tat, escalating really quickly. Stuff that might normally take months seems to happen in days in the model.
And this is where we hit that red line you mentioned, right? Iran's response to the assassination. What does the simulation show?
Yes, exactly. So after that assassination, Warcast AI has Iran launching missiles. They target U.S. bases in Kuwait and Qatar.
Okay, that's major.
That's the line crossed, according to the simulation. And at that point, the AI shows the U.S. president making the declaration, we are now at war with the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Wow. Okay, so the declaration's made, war is official, at least in the simulation. What happens militarily right away?
It jumps straight into action. Day one, the model shows American stealth bombers going after Iran's radar systems.
Taking out their eyes and ears early.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then just 2 days later, day three, you've got Iranian drones hitting U.S. ships
Where?
in the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, critical. That's the oil choke point.
Absolutely vital.
So, thinking bigger picture then, the economy. What does Warcast AI say happens to the global markets? Must be instant panic.
Immediate and severe. That's what the model shows. Oil prices just explode. Global markets basically go into a nosedive.
Right.
It really drives home how a regional fight can just instantly cause worldwide economic chaos. Shows how linked everything is.
And it doesn't stay just between the U.S. and Iran or in the Gulf, does it? The simulation shows it spreading regionally.
Spreads fast. Warcast AI shows Iran quickly mobilizing Hezbollah over in Lebanon.
Okay, the militant group with strong Iranian ties.
Right. And almost immediately they start launching attacks that hit Israel. So the whole region, pretty much overnight, descends into what the simulation just calls chaos. It's this tangled mess of conflicts.
And there's another layer, too, which is fascinating, cyber warfare. How big a role does that play early on in the simulation?
A huge role right from the start. The simulation really emphasizes this. Both sides unleash malware.
Against
Not just military stuff, critical infrastructure. We're talking banks, satellites, power grids.
civilian targets.
Yeah. Imagine, your bank access just vanishing, the lights going out, not from a storm, but as an act of war. That's the kind of disruption the AI models. And it suggests it would be incredibly hard to fully stop paralyzing society, making the human cost even worse.
Speaking of the human cost, the simulation must show that mounting quickly. What were the estimates for, say, the first week?
Just in the first week alone. The Warcast AI simulation estimates thousands dead.
Thousands in a week.
Yeah. It's a really stark reminder. Even if you think of it as a limited war starting out, the human impact is catastrophic almost instantly. way beyond many older conflicts.
The simulation also mentions attacks on Iran's nuclear sites, right? But that the program itself survives underground. That points to how tough those targets are. Does the AI touch on the sort of knock-on effects, like for global efforts to stop nuclear spread?
That's a really important question.
Mm-hmm.
The simulation doesn't explicitly model, say, other countries then deciding to go nuclear because of this war. But it does highlight how incredibly hard it is to completely wipe out these deeply buried, hardened capabilities.
Right.
It suggests even successful bombing runs might just delay things or push the problem somewhere else rather than ending it. So the nuclear issue just hangs there, a constant global worry.
So you've got this escalating war, cyber attacks, regional chaos. How does the rest of the world react in the simulation?
Well, the model shows the international community just watching in horror, basically.
Mm-hmm.
On edge, China and Russia issue these urgent warnings. The simulation really paints this picture of the world feeling like it's teetering on the brink of World War III.
So it stops being just regional very quickly.
Becomes a global crisis, yeah. Everyone's holding their breath.
And does the simulation offer sort of a final word on just how serious this all is?
It does. The AI's analysis kind of sums it up, saying something like, with every missile, with every strike, the line between survival and extinction blurs. It really drives home the stakes. Just incredibly high. Every single decision could be, well, existential.
Okay, so this is a harrowing picture that AI paints, but it ran the simulation 1,000 times. What did Warcast AI actually conclude? What was the most common ending to this scenario?
Right, 1,000 runs. And the most common outcome, in a huge majority, 72% of the cases, was a bloody stalemate.
Stalemate, no clear winner.
No clear winner. It seems the AI consistently found that both sides are too entrenched, too resilient maybe, and the regional alliances make a decisive win just too costly, maybe impossible.
So if it's a stalemate, what are the consequences for the U.S., for Iran, for the world?
They're severe for everyone. Iran is just devastated, infrastructure ruined. But the U.S., according to the model, it takes a big hit to major global backlash, resources drained.
And globally.
The world economy is shattered. It takes years, the simulation suggests, just to start recovering properly. Trade, energy, massive disruption.
And the human cost you mentioned earlier, the final projection from the simulation is just stark. Can you share that number again and the main lesson the AI built from it?
Yeah, the projection is, in just 30 days, this war could kill over 1 million people.
1 million in a month.
It's almost unfathomable. And it really hammers home the key lesson the simulation derived. Victory, like we normally think of it. It's meaningless in the nuclear age. The AI basically shows that even if one side could conventionally win this fight, the costs, human, economic, plus that nuclear risk always lurking, are so devastating that the whole idea of winning just becomes irrelevant for everybody.
Such a sobering thought. And as we said, this deep dive into Warcast AI, it was meant as not a prediction but a warning, a simulated future, a big what if.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful takeaway, the final thought from this simulation, is that the next war might not even be started deliberately by governments. It might start from miscalculations.
Simple mistakes.
Or just misreading the situation. The AI suggests that in such a tense, connected region, even small missteps could set off this chain reaction that nobody intended, nobody can control. Which, it raises a really important question for you listening. How do we actually prevent those kinds of miscalculations in the real world?
Right. And maybe digging deeper, what's the most crucial red line we need to avoid crossing? Not just bombs and drones, but maybe in how we talk, how we understand each other, to steer clear of a future driven by these kinds of unintended consequences.